We found your number on a woman's emergency contact. She's pregnant and in critical condition.
The phone buzzed in Jaehwan's pocket during the most important moment of his life, or at least, what was supposed to be. He stood at the altar of the Grand Hyatt Seoul, wearing a custom Italian tuxedo, about to marry Seo-Jin Lee, daughter of Lee Pharmaceuticals. The merger marriage his parents had orchestrated for months. Every camera in the room was pointed at him. 300 guests from Korea's elite families watched expectantly. His father's proud smile. His mother's satisfied nod. Seo-Jin's nervous but obedient expression as she waited for him to say, "I do." But Jaehwan couldn't stop staring at the unknown number flashing on his phone screen. "Jaehwan," Seo-Jin whispered, confused. "What are you?" He answered it. Right there. At his own wedding. "This is Kang Jaehwan. Sir, we have a woman here, Rebecca Adeyemi. She's 8 months pregnant, and she collapsed right outside Asan Medical Center. She's been unconscious for 20 minutes. We found your contact listed as in case of emergency on her phone. Are you family? We need consent for emergency procedures." The world stopped spinning. Rebecca. Becca. Is Becca 8 months pregnant? Pause with me for a second, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and hit that subscribe button. Your support means everything. The same Becca that left without goodbye 7 months ago. The same woman he'd let walk away because his family demanded it. The woman he saw every time he closed his eyes, every time he signed another business contract, every time he pretended to be happy about this arranged marriage. "Sir? Sir, are you there? Where is she?" His voice came out strangled, broken. Asan Medical Center, Emergency Room 3. "Sir, we really need." Jaehwan dropped the phone. He looked at Seo-Jin, at his parents, at the 300 witnesses to his perfect, proper, loveless future. Then he ran. "Jaehwan." His father's roar echoed through the ballroom. "Kang Jaehwan, you come back here right now." But Jaehwan was already gone, his dress shoes slipping on marble floors as he sprinted toward the exit. Behind him, chaos erupted. Gasps. Shouts. The sound of his mother fainting. Seo-Jin's confused sobs. None of it mattered. Becca was here. In Seoul. Carrying his child. And she was dying. Their story began just few months ago in a calm, private classroom. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Advanced Business English. I'm your instructor, Rebecca Adeyemi, but you can call me Ms. Becca. Jaehwan looked up from his phone, irritated. He was sitting in the back row of a corporate training room at Kang Innovations headquarters, surrounded by middle management employees who actually needed English lessons. He did not. The woman at the front of the class was stunning, deep brown skin, natural curly hair pulled into a professional bun, bright eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. She wore a yellow blazer that somehow made the boring corporate setting feel alive. But Jaehwan was in no mood to appreciate it. He raised his hand, not waiting to be called on. "Excuse me, Ms. Adeyemi. I think there's been a mistake. I don't need to be in this class." Every head in the room turned to him. Becca's eyebrows rose slightly. "Oh? And you are?" "Kang Jaehwan, VP of International Relations. I studied at Stanford. I've been speaking English fluently since I was 12. My board insisted I attend this training, but frankly, it's a waste of my time." The room went silent. Several employees looked scandalized. You didn't speak to instructors like that, especially not when you were the CEO's son. But Becca just smiled. A dangerous smile. "Stanford, impressive. Tell me, Mr. Kang, what's the difference between empathy and sympathy in a business negotiation context?" Easy. Empathy is understanding someone's feelings. Sympathy is feeling sorry for them. Textbook answer. Wrong in practice. Becca walked toward him slowly, deliberately. "In your last negotiation with the German distributor, yes, I did my homework on my students. You told them you sympathized with their concerns about pricing. Do you know what that actually communicated?" Jaehwan's jaw tightened. "That I understood their position." "No. It communicated that you pitted them. That you saw them as weak. That negotiation fell through, didn't it? They went with your competitor." The room was so quiet you could hear breathing. "How did you?" Because I consulted on that deal for the other side. Becca's smile widened. Your English is fluent, Mr. Kong. But language isn't just vocabulary and grammar. It's culture, subtext, power dynamics. You speak English like a Korean who learned it well. I teach people how to speak English like they understand the souls of the people they're speaking to. She returned to the front of the class. So, you can leave if you want. The door's right there. But if you stay, you might actually learn something. Jae-hwan sat there, stunned. Humiliated. Intrigued. He stayed. Over the next 3 weeks, Becca systematically dismantled every assumption Jae-hwan had about his English proficiency. She made him role-play negotiations where cultural misunderstandings cost him millions. She critiqued his presentations not for grammar, but for tone deafness to international audiences. She was brilliant. Merciless. And he couldn't stop thinking about her. After the 4th class, he waited for everyone to leave. Ms. Adeyemi. Mr. Kong. She didn't look up from packing her materials. Let me guess, you want to complain about today's feedback? I want to take you to dinner. That made her look up. Excuse me? Dinner. As an apology for being arrogant on the first day. And as a thank you for being the first person in years who wasn't afraid to tell me I was wrong. Becca studied him carefully. I don't date students. The class ends in 2 weeks. I don't date clients. I'll fire myself from being your client. I don't date billionaire heirs who think money solves everything. Good thing I'm not trying to buy your time. Jae-hwan smiled. I'm trying to earn it. Becca was quiet for a long moment. Then, one dinner. And if you mention your wealth, your company, or your Stanford education even once, I'm leaving. Deal. That dinner changed everything. Jae-hwan talked about his love of photography, a hobby he'd abandoned because his father called it impractical. Becca shared her dreams of opening a school in Lagos to teach English to kids who couldn't afford international education. They argued about music, laughed about terrible movies, and discovered they both loved hiking in the early morning when the world was quiet. You're different than I expected, Becca admitted over dessert. How so? I expected entitled. Cold. Calculating. She smiled. You're actually kind. And funny. And you listen when people talk, which is rare. You're terrifying, Jae-hwan countered. Terrifying. In the best way. You don't care that I'm a Kong. You look at me and see just. Jae-hwan. Do you know how rare that is in my world? Becca reached across the table and took his hand. Maybe you're in the wrong world, then. 1 dinner became 2. 2 became 20. Within 3 months, Jae-hwan was in love for the first time in his life. Really, truly in love, not the polite courtship his parents had arranged with suitable women, but something raw and consuming and terrifying. Becca challenged him, made him laugh until his sides hurt, dragged him to poetry readings in Itaewon and jazz clubs in Hongdae, taught him to dance to Afrobeats in her tiny apartment, made him feel like a person, not a corporation. I love you, he told her one night, wrapped in her sheets as rain pattered against the window. I've never said that to anyone before. Not like this. I love you too, Becca whispered back. But Jae-hwan, your family will learn to accept you. I promise. Scene 4. Meeting the family. The promise was impossible to keep. Jae-hwan's mother took one look at Becca and her face went rigid with horror. His father didn't even pretend to be polite. So, Chairman Kong said coldly as they sat in the formal dining room of the Kang estate, you teach English. Yes, sir. I also consult for international corporations on cross-cultural communication. And your family? What do they do? My father is a pastor. My mother is a nurse. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. I see. His mother's voice was ice. Jae-hwan, may I speak with you in the study? The study conversation was brutal. Are you out of your mind? His mother's composure shattered the moment the door closed. A language tutor? An African? What are you thinking? I'm thinking she's the woman I love. Love. His father laughed bitterly. You think love matters in our world? You're the heir to Kong Innovations. Your marriage will be a business alliance, not a romance novel. I'm 29 years old. I can make my own choices. Not when those choices affect 3,000 employees and a 50-year legacy. His father slammed his hand on the desk. The board is already questioning your readiness to lead. If you marry some nobody with no connections, no family background, no. Say it, Jae-hwan challenged. Say what you really mean. His mother's voice was quiet, deadly. She's not one of us. She will never be one of us. And if you insist on this foolishness, we will disown you. No company. No inheritance. No family. The impossible choice. Jae-hwan tried to have both. He moved Becca into a penthouse apartment, one his parents didn't know about. He kept their relationship private while he worked on his family. He promised her that he was fighting for them, that he just needed time. But time was the one thing they didn't have. The breaking point came 6 months into their relationship. Becca had been invited to speak at a major conference, the same conference where Kang Innovations was unveiling a new product. Jae-hwan was supposed to be there to support her. Instead, he was pulled into an emergency board meeting. His father had arranged for him to sit next to Seo-jin Lee, the pharmaceutical heiress, at the company dinner that night. Photographers captured them together. The business press speculated about a merger marriage. Becca saw the photos before he could explain. Is this what you've been doing? She held up her phone, hands trembling. Working on your family? Because it looks like you're auditioning your replacement. Becca, please, it was my father's setup. I didn't know. You never know. You never tell them no. You just keep me hidden like some shameful secret while you play the perfect son. That's not fair. You know how complicated this is. Complicated? Becca's laugh was bitter. Love isn't supposed to be this hard, Jae-hwan. If you have to hide me, if you're ashamed of what we are, then maybe your parents are right. Maybe I'm not the right woman for you. Don't say that. You are the right woman. You're the only woman. Then prove it. Becca's eyes were full of tears. Choose me. Publicly. Completely. Or let me go. Jae-hwan opened his mouth. Closed it. The silence stretched between them like an ocean. I need more time, he finally whispered. Time's up. Becca grabbed her bag. I can't do this anymore. I can't love someone who won't fight for me. Becca, wait. I'm done waiting. 2 weeks of misery later, Jae-hwan made a decision. He would propose. He would marry Becca and deal with the consequences. His family could disown him. He had enough money saved, enough connections. They would build a life together, away from all of this. He bought a ring. Not the flashy diamond his mother would approve of, but a simple gold band with a Nigerian pattern, something meaningful to Becca. He planned a proposal at dawn on Namsan Tower, where they'd watch the sunrise on their first official date. But when he arrived at her apartment at 5 a.m., excited and terrified, he found it empty. Completely empty. Furniture gone. Clothes gone. The photographs they'd taken together, gone. A single envelope sat on the kitchen counter with his name on it. Jae-hwan. I can't do this anymore. I can't be the woman who destroys your relationship with your family. I can't be the reason you lose everything you've worked for. And I can't keep breaking my own heart waiting for you to choose me. You're an incredible man. You're kind and funny and so much more than what your parents see. But you're also afraid. And I understand why. Your whole world is built on their approval. I won't make you choose between me and them. So I'm making the choice for both of us. I'm going back home. Back to my life. Please don't try to find me. Please don't call. It'll only make this harder. I love you. I'll probably always love you. But love without courage is just a beautiful tragedy. Be happy, Jae-hwan. Even if it's not with me. Becca. Jae-hwan fell to his knees in that empty apartment and cried for the first time since childhood. The months that followed were hollow. Jae-hwan functioned, went to meetings, signed contracts, smiled for cameras. But inside, he was dead. His parents, sensing victory, ramped up pressure for the marriage to Seo-jin. She's perfect for you, his mother insisted. Educated, sophisticated, from good family. You'll learn to care for her. I don't want to learn to care for someone. I want Becca. That woman is gone. It's time to move forward. But Jae-hwan couldn't move forward. He hired private investigators to find Becca. They reported she'd returned to Lagos, was teaching at a local school, was rebuilding her life. He wrote letters he never sent. He kept the ring in his pocket like a talisman of his failure. His work suffered. The board noticed. His father grew impatient. You have 1 year to get yourself together and marry Seojin, or I'm removing you from succession, Chairman Kong declared. This company cannot be led by a lovesick fool. Jae-hwan agreed to the engagement because he didn't have the energy to fight anymore. Without Becca, what did any of it matter? The secret. What Jae-hwan didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that Becca had discovered she was pregnant 2 weeks after returning to Lagos. She stared at the test in her small bathroom, tears streaming down her face. A baby. Jae-hwan's baby. She should tell him. She knew she should. But she remembered his face when she asked him to choose. She remembered the photographs of him with Seojin. She remembered every moment he'd put his family's approval above their love. If I tell him, he'll feel trapped, she confided to her best friend Amara. He'll marry me out of obligation, resent me eventually. Or worse, his family will fight for custody. They have infinite money and power. They could take my baby from me. Becca, that's his child. He has a right to know. Does he? He had a right to fight for me too. He chose his family's peace over our future. Becca placed a hand on her still flat stomach. This baby deserves better than parents who are together because of guilt and obligation. This baby deserves to be wanted. It was the hardest decision of her life. Every day of her pregnancy, she wavered. Every ultrasound, every kick, every moment of morning sickness, she wanted to call him. But she didn't. At 7 months pregnant, Becca's sister called with devastating news. Their mother had had a stroke. She was in Seoul. She'd been visiting family friends when it happened. You need to come, Becca. The doctors say she might not make it. Becca booked the first flight out, knowing the risk. Seoul was Jae-won's city. But her mother needed her. She arrived exhausted, stressed, her pregnancy making the long flight unbearable. From the airport, she took a taxi directly to Asan Medical Center where her mother was in ICU. But as she stepped out of the taxi, a wave of dizziness hit her. The stress, the travel, the altitude change, everything converged at once. The last thing Becca remembered was the ground rushing up to meet her and a security guard yelling for help. Jae-hwan burst through the emergency room doors, still wearing his tuxedo, his wedding flower boutonniere crushed in his mad dash from the hotel. Nurses scattered as he grabbed the first person in scrubs. Rebecca Adeyemi, where is she? Sir, you can't just. Where is she? His voice cracked, desperate. A doctor approached quickly. Are you Kong Jae-hwan? Yes. Where's Becca? Is the baby? She's stable for now. We managed to stabilize her blood pressure, but she has preeclampsia, a serious pregnancy complication. The baby is in distress. We need to do an emergency C-section, but she's refusing to sign consent. She says, the doctor hesitated. She says she needs to see you first. She needs to know you came. Take me to her. Now. The doctor led him through sterile hallways to a private room. Jae-hwan's hands were shaking as he pushed open the door. Becca lay in the hospital bed, looking so small and fragile it broke his heart. Her natural hair was in a messy bun, her face swollen from the pregnancy and stress, monitors beeping around her. But she was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. Becca, he breathed. Her eyes opened. For a moment, she just stared at him, taking in the tuxedo, the boutonniere, the reality of what she'd interrupted. You came, she whispered. You were getting married. I saw it in the news this morning. I wasn't going to call you. I wasn't going to ruin your perfect day. But then I collapsed and I thought, her voice broke. I thought I might die without you knowing. Without you meeting our baby. Jae-hwan crossed the room in 2 strides and fell to his knees beside her bed, grabbing her hand. Our baby. You're having our baby. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you? Tears streamed down his face. 8 months, Becca. 8 months you carried my child alone. Because you chose them. Her own tears fell. You chose your family, your company, your perfect life. I wasn't going to force you to choose again. You stupid, stubborn, incredible woman. Jae-hwan was sobbing now, pressing her hand to his cheek. There was never a choice. There was never anyone but you. I was marrying Seojin because I thought I'd lost you forever. Because every day without you was torture, and I thought maybe if I just went through the motions, maybe eventually it would stop hurting. Did it? Becca asked softly. Stop hurting. Not for a single second. He looked up at her, his eyes red and desperate. I love you. I've loved you since that first day in the classroom when you made me look like a fool. I love you when I wake up, when I sign contracts, when I pretend to smile at board meetings. You are the only thing that has ever made my life make sense. Your parents can disown me. I don't care anymore. Jae-hwan stood, but kept her hand in both of his. I should have fought for you. I should have told them all to go to hell and chosen you from the beginning. I was a coward. And I am so sorry. A contraction hit Becca and she cried out in pain. The monitors started beeping frantically. We need to do the C-section now, the doctor rushed in. The baby's heart rate is dropping. Becca, please, Jae-hwan begged. Let them help you. Let them save our baby. Becca looked at him through her pain. Promise me something. Anything. Promise me you won't let them take our baby from me. Your family, they'll want custody. They have power and money and they'll have to go through me first. Jae-hwan's voice was steel. You and this baby are my family now. The only family that matters. I promise you, Becca. I swear on my life. Okay. Becca squeezed his hand. Okay. I'll sign. The surgery felt like an eternity. Jae-hwan paced the waiting room, still in his destroyed tuxedo, drawing stares from other visitors. His phone buzzed nonstop, his father, his mother, Seo-jin, the board members. He turned it off. His grandmother arrived an hour into the surgery, her face stern but her eyes soft. Halmiani, Jae-hwan choked out. I'm sorry. I ruined everything. The wedding, the merger, the company. You saved yourself, she interrupted, pulling him into a hug. You finally became a man. Father will never forgive me. Your father is a fool who forgot what matters. She pulled back, cupping his face. I liked Becca. She had fire. Intelligence. She made you laugh. The rest of them were too concerned with what Seoul society would think to see what I saw. That girl made you happy. I might lose her, Halmiani. I might lose both of them. Then you pray. And you fight. And you never let go again. 2 hours later, a doctor emerged. Jae-hwan jumped to his feet. Mr. Kong? Yes. Are they? Congratulations. You have a daughter. 6 pounds, 3 ounces. She's healthy. Jae-hwan's knees nearly buckled. And Becca? She's in recovery. The preeclampsia was severe, but we caught it in time. She'll need to stay for observation, but she's going to be okay. Can I see them? Follow me. The nurse led him to the neonatal area. In a clear bassinet, wrapped in pink blankets, was the tiniest human Jae-hwan had ever seen. His daughter. She had Becca's nose, his mouth, a head full of dark curly hair. Her tiny fingers curled and uncurled as she slept, completely unaware that she'd just turned her father's entire world upside down. You can hold her, the nurse said gently. With shaking hands, Jae-hwan picked up his daughter for the first time. She fit perfectly in his arms, warm and real and his. Hi, baby girl, he whispered, tears falling onto her blanket. I'm your appa. I'm sorry I wasn't there before. I'm sorry I was an idiot. But I'm here now. And I'm never leaving. I promise. The baby yawned, her tiny face scrunching up, and Jae-hwan felt his heart crack open in the best possible way. When Becca woke from the anesthesia, the first thing she saw was Jae-hwan sitting in the chair beside her bed, their daughter cradled in his arms. He was singing softly in Korean, a lullaby his grandmother used to sing to him. Jae-hwan, she croaked. He looked up, his face transforming with relief. You're awake. How do you feel? Like I got hit by a truck. Becca tried to sit up and winced. Is she? She's perfect. Jae-hwan stood carefully and brought the baby to Becca. Do you want to hold her? Becca took her daughter with trembling arms and immediately started crying. She's so beautiful. She looks like you. She has your eyes. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, just staring at the miracle they'd created together. What happens now? Becca finally asked. You ran out on your wedding. Your family is not my priority. Jae-hwan sat on the edge of her bed. You are. She is. I meant what I said before the surgery. You two are my family now. Jae-hwan, be realistic. You can't just abandon your entire life. Watch me. His voice was firm. I'm done living for other people's expectations. I'm done choosing duty over love. Whatever comes next, we figure it out together. If you'll have me, I have your baby. I think it's a little late for if. I'm not talking about obligation, Becca. I'm asking. Jae-hwan slid off the bed and onto one knee, pulling the ring from his pocket. The ring he'd been carrying for 8 months. I'm asking you to marry me. For real this time. Not because of the baby, but because I love you. Because you're the only woman I've ever wanted to spend my life with. Because. Yes, Becca interrupted, laughing through her tears. Yes, you dramatic man. Yes. The peace lasted exactly 12 hours. Jae-hwan's parents arrived at the hospital the next morning with lawyers, board members, and fury. Have you lost your mind? His father stormed into Becca's room without knocking. Do you have any idea what you've done? The Lee family is threatening to pull out of the merger. The board wants you removed. The press is having a field day. Good morning to you too, father. Don't you dare mock me. You will fix this. You will apologize to Seo-jin, you will marry her as planned, and you will. He stopped short, noticing Becca in the bed and the baby in her arms. His mother went pale. Is that your child? Yes. Jae-hwan stood, placing himself between his parents and Becca. This is my daughter. And this is Becca, the woman I'm going to marry. You most certainly are not, his mother hissed. We will not allow. I don't need your permission. I'm 29 years old. This is my life. A life we gave you. His father's voice rose. Everything you have, your education, your position, your wealth, comes from this family. And you throw it away for some. Finish that sentence and you'll never see me or your granddaughter again, Jae-hwan said coldly. Choose your next words very carefully. The tension in the room was suffocating. Becca held their baby tighter, her heart pounding. You want to disown me? Fine. Do it. I'll take the trust fund I set up separately. I'll take my shares in the company that I earned. And I'll build a life with the woman I love and our child. You'll be nothing without the Kang name. Then I'll be nothing. Jae-hwan's voice was calm, final. But I'll be happy. Which is more than I can say about my life with you. His grandmother entered then, her presence commanding immediate silence. That's enough, she said quietly. All of you out. Now. Mother, you can't possibly. Out. Before I change my will and leave everything to the local cat shelter. The lawyers and board members filed out quickly. Jae-hwan's parents lingered, but one look from Halmini had them retreating as well. Once alone, his grandmother approached Becca's bed slowly. May I? Becca hesitated, then carefully handed over the baby. Halmini looked down at her great-granddaughter with tears in her ancient eyes. She's beautiful, she whispered. What's her name? Jae-hwan and Becca exchanged glances. They hadn't discussed it yet. Jiera, Becca said softly. It means beautiful wisdom in Korean, right? Yes. Halmini smiled. It's perfect. She handed the baby back and turned to her grandson. You did the right thing. Running from that farce of a wedding. Your grandfather would be proud. Would he? He married me against his family's wishes. I was a schoolteacher, beneath their status. They disowned him for 2 years. She chuckled. Turned out fine. We built a company from nothing. Your father forgets where he came from. What do I do now, Halmini? You fight. For your family. Your real family. She patted his cheek. And you let me handle your parents. I've been too soft on them for too long. The fallout was brutal but survivable. Jae-hwan was removed from his position at Kang Innovations. His father cut off most of his inheritance. Seoul society gossiped for months. But Jae-hwan discovered something wonderful. He didn't care. He used his personal savings and investments to start his own consulting firm, helping international companies navigate Korean business culture. Becca joined him as a partner, bringing her expertise in cross-cultural communication. They were successful. Not as wealthy as before, but comfortable. Happy. They married in a small ceremony in Lagos, surrounded by Becca's family and the few friends from Seoul who'd stood by them, including Halmini, who wore traditional Nigerian dress and danced at the reception. Jiera was 6 months old, sitting in her grandmother's lap during the ceremony, babbling happily. Do you regret it? Becca asked one night as they lay in bed in their modest but cozy apartment in Itaewon. Giving up everything for us? Jaehwan pulled her closer, listening to Jiera's soft breathing from the crib beside them. I didn't give up everything. I gave up things. Money. Status. Expectations. That's not nothing. No. He kissed her forehead. But it's not everything either. Everything is right here. You. Her. This life we're building together. I was drowning in that old life, Becca. You threw me a lifeline. We threw each other a lifeline. Yeah. He smiled in the darkness. We did. Epilogue. 2 years later. Jaehwan's phone rang as he was making breakfast. Jiera was in her high chair, smashing banana into her hair while Becca laughed at her. Jaehwan? It's your father. He nearly dropped the phone. They hadn't spoken in over 2 years. Father. A long pause. Your mother and I, we want to meet our granddaughter. Jaehwan looked at Becca, who'd gone very still. She shook her head slightly. Your call. Why now? He asked carefully. Because I'm dying. His father's voice was rough. Pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. I have maybe 6 months. I'm sorry. I don't want your pity. I want. Another pause. I want to meet Jiera before I die. I want to apologize to your wife. I want to tell you that you were right, and I was wrong, and I wasted 2 years being a stubborn old fool. Tears pricked Jaehwan's eyes. I'll talk to Becca. I'll call you back. Later that week, they visited the Kong estate. It was awkward, tense, filled with years of pain that couldn't be erased by one conversation. But when Jaehwan's father held Jiera for the first time, the old man wept. She has your smile, he told his son. And she's perfect. She is, Jaehwan agreed. Just like her mother. His father looked at Becca, really looked at her for the first time. I'm sorry. For everything. You deserved better from this family. Thank you, Becca said quietly. That means more than you know. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. Trust had to be rebuilt slowly. Jaehwan's mother still struggled with acceptance. There were difficult conversations and setbacks. But there was also progress. Family dinners. Birthday parties for Jiera. Halmiani's triumphant, I told you so every chance she got. And through it all, Jaehwan and Becca held on to each other. They'd been through hell and back. They'd lost everything and found each other again. And that was worth more than any inheritance, any company, any approval from people who'd never understood what they had. Love. Real, messy, complicated, beautiful love. The kind worth fighting for. The end. In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take, the relationships we were afraid to have, and the decisions we waited too long to make. Before you go, drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to join our growing storytelling family. Your support means everything.